Welcome to Sportball's Magic Maker podcast. I'm your host, Jason DeRocha, Vice President of Sportball. Today we have a very special guest, Jesse Schneider, who is our franchise owner in the beautiful Okanagan area. Jesse is a very special entrepreneur. He is an athlete, a coach, a musician. He's the kind of guy that is writing poetry and rescuing cats from trees. He's a man of many talents. We have a chance to chat with him today and learn about his passion, his purpose, and his business. He's been making an incredible impact in his community, reaching hundreds, if not thousands, of children. And there is nobody better than to start this podcast with than Jesse Schneider. Stay tuned. This is not an episode you're going to want to miss. Welcome to the Magic Makers podcast with Sportball, where passion meets purpose. I am so excited to introduce our first guest, Jesse Schneider from Kelowna. Jesse, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, dude. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, man. I'm excited. You're our first guest.
Yeah, me too.
I know that you're busy out there in the Okanagan running Sportball and just crushing it. But, there's so much that we can learn from you. I think that everyone's been seeing your posts on social media. You're obviously doing extremely well, reaching as many families as you can out there in the Okanagan, building your team and your business. So the next 10 or 15 minutes, just getting to know you and what you've been able to achieve it's going to be really enlightening for all of us. All right, so let's just kind of start with you, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what territory you own, and how long you've been with Sportball.
Yeah, man. So the territory that I own here is the Okanagan. So when I first started this process, I didn't even know what the Okanagan was. I was like, how far does it go? I was trying to research it. But my territory is from Penticton to Vernon and everything in between. And there's some smaller towns around that we're going to try to eventually hit. We have some awesome families, and it's been a journey. I've been with Sportball for over 10 years now, which is pretty crazy. I started in May 2015, and I literally remember it like it's yesterday. It was the best journey I've ever been on. It's been awesome. And then I've been a franchise owner since 2021, and it's been just a whirlwind ever since, and probably one of the best experiences of my life so far. So
that's awesome. I remember when you first kind of reached out and said you were interested in launching in Okanagan with Luke, and I was like, man, there is no better brand ambassador than this kid that's going to get out there and just crush it in the Okanagan. And man, did you surpass my expectations. Describe what your first, if you can remember what your first experience at Sportball was, and even like how you even heard about Sportball. How'd you get involved?
Yeah, no, I remember that again, like it's yesterday. It's a pretty funny story. So I was playing football for the Edmonton Huskies at the time. And my offensive coordinator is Aaron Hoba, who is actually now the co-owner of Sportball North Sask. It's just crazy how things go full circle, and he's amazing. But I just remember one day I'm at practice, and he just walks up and he's like, hey, do you want a job? And I was like, oh, yeah. What's the job? He's like, you're going to be coaching sports to kids. And I was just like, this sounds like the best job in all the land. I can't think of a better job that I could be doing. Just get to play sports and hang out with kids. And I didn't have too much experience with kids at the time. And I was about 19 years old. I was told to go to the Seville Center at the U of A, and I walk in, and it's just a room full of 2-year-olds, and I'm looking around like, okay, what is this all about? How am I going to coach? How do we coach sports to 2-year-olds? And it was with Coach Nicole, who is a Sportball legend. I don't know if you've ever met her. She's in Edmonton. Yeah. She is one of the most phenomenal coaches I've ever coached with. And first class, jump in there. I remember doing volleyball, and I had no idea what's going on. We're doing Sportball says, going through the warm-up, and I'm just trying to follow along the best that I can. And then we get into our first skill, and I'm sure you've taught the storyline many times. We had our little dinosaur egg, and we had to wake up our dinosaur. So I'm standing next to Nicole, and she tosses me this volleyball, and she's like, Coach Jesse's going to sing to the volleyball. And I remember just looking at her, and I was like, what? But I just like improv, like I was like, oh, like an opera singer. And I threw it back, and I was like, what? I don't know what that was, but okay. The rest of the class is a blur, because after that, I was just like, what is this? What am I getting into? Then after the class, she was like, you crushed it. That was amazing. And then, yeah, got hired, met Luke, who was like my mentor throughout the whole Edmonton process as well. And yeah, it's been a whirlwind ever since. But yeah, I'll never forget it.
So cool. So cool. Yeah, man, you had some incredible mentors. Obviously Luke is one of the most successful franchisees we have in the game. Aaron, phenomenal football player, incredible coach, and Nicole, who also spent some time at Sportball Singapore after I had left the market. Yeah. Man, crazy. You had some juggernauts teaching you the ropes. So how did you transition from I love coaching to I wonder if I can run a Sportball franchise? I can do this for myself.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it goes back to my very first full-time job after high school. I was working for like this pipe equipment place. If you know me, I'm like the least blue collar dude you could meet. And I remember coming home from like my first week and to my mom, I was like, I can't do this. I don't know, man. I can't do this for the rest of my life. And she's like, this is just the way it is. Like you gotta clock in, clock out. And I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's the move for me. But I didn't know like about entrepreneurship. I was like 17 years old, just graduated high school. So that seed was planted. And I remember I was just like, I don't know, man. I think there's something more that I could be doing. And then
Yeah.
fast forward again, university, I went to U of A, have a kinesiology degree. And like many kinesiology students, I was like, I'm going to be a physiotherapist. It's going to be amazing. And I did my practicum. There was a 4-month practicum and I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I learned so much. Things that I still do today in my like activity world are related to the stuff I learned. But I remember in that 4 months, I wasn't coaching, and I was just like, I miss this so much. I just can't wait to be back in the class with the kids. And I was like, can I do this for the rest of my life? Can I be a physio for the rest of my life? Props to the physios that do it. That's amazing. But for me, I was just like, I don't think it's for me. I remember talking to Luke about it, and he was like, yeah, man, there's an opportunity for you to go to the Okanagan and start Sportball there. Like no one's running it kind of thing. And at the time I'd never visited Kelowna I didn't even, like not even once in my life, but everyone I talked to was pretty much like, oh, you'd fit in really well there. And I was like, I don't know if that's a green flag or a red flag because like Kelowna has a reputation for sure. But I was just like, you know what? Let's pursue this. I have nothing to lose. I can go back to school if I want to, if this doesn't work.
Mm,
I think I was 26, 25 at the time. And it was one of those big life moments where I kind of risked it all. I knew no one here.
right.
My parents were like, "Are you sure?" Like, they were super supportive, but they were kinda "Are you sure you're ready for this step? Like, you're starting a business." I was like, "I'm gonna try my best, and if everything I've done in my life, I've been able to succeed at, if I put my mind to it and I just work hard at it and I just grind it out." I know I'm a phenomenal coach, I love it, and then the business side has been a whole separate conversation, learning how to run a business and just learning
Sure.
about business in general, but now business has turned into my passion and just learning about it and all the
Mm,
different, like, levers you can pull for different things to happen and how one thing can cause another thing, and yeah, it's just been we're gonna figure it out one step at a time, and I just love it. So that's kind of my journey from being a rookie coach all the way to a franchise owner. And it's cool now because when I hire people, I can tell them like, "Hey, I've been in your exact shoes as a rookie
yeah.
coach, and I've come so far. Like, there's so much room for you in this company to grow." So I love it. It's been the best decision of my
Yeah.
life.
There's a couple of things you said there. Entrepreneurship wasn't necessarily something that you were kind of even aware of, but you said that you couldn't find a job that suited you. There wasn't a job that spoke to kind of like what your passion and purpose was. The CEO Quentin Griffiths was just on a podcast, and he actually was asked to define how he saw entrepreneurship. And it's funny the way that you described how you stumbled into becoming a franchisee was essentially how he described the journey of becoming an entrepreneur, right? It's you kind of start to reflect on, the types of options that you have to create a future and for yourself and for your family and the kind of job that speaks to you. And when that job doesn't really exist, you have to create a job for yourself, that allows you to make the choices that you want to make in life. And that's kind of the way that every entrepreneur starts. And to a degree, the other thing that I thought was interesting was you talked about some of the lessons that you learned through your experience at playing football and then how you transitioned into sport. Are there any specific lessons or skills that you learned from playing sports that you think that would help you thrive as a sportball owner?
Yeah, I think we're all aware of the social skills that sports teaches you, and the first one that I think of is just being able to talk to people. You don't realize it, but like day in and day out, having 6 practices a week, talking to different people. Another big one is leadership. I was always drawn naturally to those leadership positions. In football, I played quarterback, in basketball, point guard, track. I was always the anchor for the 4x100 kind of thing, and it gave me a platform to be a leader and to showcase my leadership skills and hone my leadership skills. Now I have a team. It's not a sports team, but it's still a team that I need to grow. We need to work towards a common vision, and I have to show them like, hey, this is our goal. This is where we're all leading to. We have the same goal right now, and that's to make kids the happiest and most active we possibly can. And then just, yeah, resiliency. Like things are going to get tough. You're going to have a tough practice. You're going to get injured. Things are going to happen, but you can overcome that. Again, I have every single time in my life through sports.
Yeah.
So it's the same reason when I approach business, I'm like, man, I fumbled that deal with this partner. okay, it doesn't feel good, but I'm like, I survived. It's like, what did I learn from that? And then now, how can I take it to the next time I have this opportunity to not make the same mistakes?
Well said. Well said. I think, like you said, like social skills are innately built into sport. And what we do at Sportball, of course, with kids is we try to almost tease out like turn taking, using pro social language, dealing with winning and losing, making a shot and then missing a shot, and how you deal with both of those in a way that allow you to be a team player and an effective leader. And all of those skills apply to business as well, which is great. And to as a coach, like as like you said, as a mentor of other mentors, to be able to impart some of these lessons to your coaches so that they can apply them to their life and then to the kids that they teach. What's like some of your favorite things about being an owner of a business, and maybe some of the challenges as well?
Definitely, yeah. And like anything, there's pros and cons to everything that you do. For me, the biggest pro is, again, building the team that I have. It seriously blows my mind every single time that every time I finish a staff meeting, we have about 4 a year. I drive home and I'm almost crying because I'm just so grateful for this team that I have that are just so bought into what we're doing. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we have this common goal that we're all going towards. And I'm just like, how did I get so lucky to have these phenomenal coaches by my side? And then what I also love is just the community building. It's been so fun to just get to know so many people in this community, through being a business owner and being a coach as well. Try to reach out to that other business and see what kind of cool things you can do. And one thing I noticed in the Okanagan specifically was every small business is here to help each other up. And it's like, what is it? The high tide lifts all boats, that classic quote. Like,
Yep,
if there's a
rising
way I
tide.
can
Yeah.
help your business, they're going to find a way to help my business. It's just so cool that we're all on like this journey together.
I think there's something about like purpose-driven businesses, businesses that make a difference. That almost people come out of the pavement to try to support a cause like that. There's so many. I would say there's so many ways to earn a dollar in this world, but there's not as many ways to make a difference. And I think if you work with kids and you have a positive impact on them as a role model, and they can create some positive associations with sport and physical activity, well, then you kind of you're preparing the next generation to develop healthy habits. So if I was a new potential franchisee, or I was thinking about becoming a franchisee, or an owner of a sportball franchise, what would be, some of the advice that you might impart to me?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is be particular with who you hire, and like that, like the people you hire are probably the most important part of this business. Like I always tell my coaches, you're the face of the business. It's not me. It's you guys that are in the class every single day developing those relationships. So be very picky with who you actually bring onto your team, and like have the best of the best if you can. But another one is, there's a book that I read pretty early on. It's called E-Myth. And this is for anyone that wants to start a business. One of my mentors, Jay, he's awesome. He kind of he told me to read this book because I think he saw where I was at. And this book just kind of breaks down how most people who start a business, they're really good at the one thing, whether they're a plumber, whether they're, for me as a coach, an electrician, they're like, wow, I'm so good at doing this. Why don't I just start my own business? But what ends up happening is you start your business, and now instead of just being the coach, I'm now the coach, the HR, the admin, all that stuff. I'm doing 15 roles instead of the one that I was doing. And I think it's why most small businesses fail, is like you put on all these hats, and it's cool to start that way, but then you have to eventually delegate, and don't be afraid to give things to your coaches. Don't be afraid to let things go. And that's been my biggest challenge, is obviously I want everything to be perfect. This is my baby. I love it so much, and I don't want anything to go wrong. And it's been being able to give up the control to my coaches or to
Yeah.
other people, to be like, hey, I trust you. You're going to crush it. If you fail, that's okay, but I know we're going to grow from it. And it's going to make the big picture thing happen easier by doing that.
Love it, man. Great advice. Yeah, and the ability to support our franchisees. Sportball. One of the things that we try to do is take some of those hats off. For those owners, because like you said, sometimes people are very, very talented, but they don't have every skill set. And even if they did, it's a lot, like you said, to take on. So to have an organization that can help jump in, support you with administration or business development, or, social media marketing, like all of those things, it's kind of how we allow you to get closer to what fills your cup and gives you energy, and hopefully we can support with those things that don't give you as much energy. Jess, like honestly, working with you is probably one of the most inspiring experiences I've had over my 20-year career at Sportball.
Thanks, man.
I'm being honest. you set the bar and then you blow past it in terms of numbers, in terms of your team, to see what you're doing on social media, how it's like fun and entertaining and engaging, but still educational and wholesome. It's really remarkable. And can't wait to see what you're able to achieve in the course of the next 3 to 5 years.
I appreciate it, man. I'm excited too. It's like I feel like I've just scratched the surface on what we got going on. Like I genuinely like last on Sunday night. I'm not even joking. I was sitting there and it was like 9 p.m. I'm watching TV, but I'm like, man, I can't wait for tomorrow morning to just crush these goals. But yeah, it's like feeling excited to go to work on Monday morning, which everyone tells you is a good sign. So
Yeah, well, listen, I've been here for 20 years. I always say everybody, like, take what I say with a grain of salt. I sip the Kool-Aid. I met my wife here. My
yeah,
kids have grown up through the program, so I am biased,
yeah,
but it is really one of the things that I think as a dad, you're going to be a great dad one day, but as a dad, one of the things that I try to take a lot of pride in is, to spend my time when I'm away from my children doing work that they would be proud of. Because I think my time
yeah.
with my children is more important than anything that I've ever experienced in my life, that I value more than anything, and my wife. So any time that I spend away from them, I want it to be on something that I think either makes the space, the time and the space that I occupy better. And Sportball allows me to do that. So yeah, we teach children a lot of lessons, but there are some lessons that we teach kids that I can't help but think that we sometimes forget as adults. Is there a lesson that you teach children that you think that adults have forgotten?
Yeah. And it's tough to kind of convey to adults and not kind of seem childish, but it's the quote, have fun on purpose. And it's something that I try to live my life by. And everyone I hire, like the very first meeting, I tell them about this. And I always ask, like, what do you think having fun on purpose means? And it kind of is in the title. It's kind of like you're just doing things that are fun intentionally. And kids' love language is having fun. And if you can have fun with the kids and they're having fun, they're gonna they're gonna not want to stop what you're doing. And I always try and take that into my daily life. And no matter what I'm doing, whether it's I'm at the grocery store, I'm going for a walk, I'm just hanging out with friends, no matter what it is, I always try and have my back of my mind. How can I make this more fun? So just have more fun as an adult. Like go do that fun thing that you did as a kid. And I think that's what kids bring out of us. Coaching just it keeps you young. Like they laugh at your silly jokes. They want to just have the best time ever. And as an adult, obviously we have our stressors, but if you can bring those little fun moments into your life, I promise you your life is going to be a lot better just because you're going to be having more fun.
Well said. Well said, Jess. Holy moly. The second question I was going to say is, if there was one billboard, that you knew everybody on the planet was going to drive by at least once, what would that quote be? And I think you just answered that question.
I think that might be it.
Yeah, have fun
Or like
on
have fun
purpose.
today.
Like,
Just yeah, have fun on purpose
yeah,
or have fun today. Just make a moment today fun and I promise your day will be a little bit better.
Jess, well, I got to tell you, I had a lot of fun chatting with you today. I could
Me
talk to you
too,
for
man.
another
That was
hour,
sweet.
man, but yeah, you are a remarkable brand ambassador. I know that you have lots of plans to grow and you have ambitions outside of the Okanagan as well.
Yeah.
And we're working together on a really cool opportunity that's coming up. We won't announce it until we're ready to announce it, but I'm stoked to just see how far you can go and how many kids you can reach. I'm honored to work together with you and to call you a friend and colleague.
Dude, likewise. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. And again, I can't wait to see where we just continue to push this brand and just continue to reach more and more kids to just love sports. I think that's what it's all about.
Well said. All right, Jess. Well, thank you so much, man. We'll let you get back at it in the Okanagan, man. Take care of yourself, and life is good. Life is fun.
We're at Sportball. We're number one. Let's go, baby.